Good
Hey,
afternoon, Megan.
hey, Mandy. How are you?
Uh, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Enjoying the sunshine and the warm weather finally. So,
I know it's gorgeous. We just had an executive committee meeting with
mhm.
our executive board for the chamber, and we were fortunate to be able to enjoy lunch from Perry's Barbecue. So he is still doing curbside service and drive through. So we encourage you to support those local businesses and eat local. Megan was our delivery person today. So thank
Yes,
you for that, Megan.
no problem. Rapid time. I got there in time. I was surprised. So,
That's right. You did great. Everybody enjoyed their meatloaf. Today is Meatloaf Tuesday, which is very, very popular at Perry. So if you have not had lunch, go grab you some meatloaf.
yummy.
Yeah. So Megan, you can talk to us a little bit about our senior showcase.
Yeah. So, we are excited to be partnering with Tal Plumley at Farm Bureau here in town for our senior showcase, congratulating the class of 2020. Here's an example of what will be shown up on the billboard in town, the Lamar billboard located right on 76 between Popeyes and the gas station. So make sure you email us your senior photo with where they go to school and their name. So we can get it up there. We'll email you back with a date that you can see your senior up there on the sign. So again, that email is seniors@whitehousechamber.org, and I can't wait to get your emails.
Yes, and we've got over about 150 students so
Yes,
far, I believe, that we're
yes.
showcasing. So, but we know there's a lot more out there. So please go ahead and send your seniors to seniors@whitehousechamber.org, and we will get them up and feature them. We're very glad to have Tal Plumley partnering with us on that. And we've got all summer to showcase these seniors if necessary. So send us your seniors. High school and
In
college, because
college,
they've
yeah.
all worked hard. We want to make sure that we are recognizing all of them. Um, And then also want to talk to you guys about our census. It is very important to do the self count. So if you have not yet visited www.census.gov, please do so. Everybody counts in the census, and it's very important to our city and our county for funding from the federal government. So if you would do that and put White House at the top of the self count list, we would appreciate that. Right now, I think that we were, at least in Robertson County, at the top of the list. I'm
Mhm.
not sure about Sumner County, but we always like for White House to be number one. So help us
Yeah.
with that. And if you have a child that was born April 1st or after, they count. If your mother in law lives with you, she counts. So make sure that you count every single person in your home so that we
Right.
can get that funding. And then one other thing that we want to talk to you guys about that's coming up is the National Day of Prayer. That is always the first Thursday of May, which is May 7th this year. We've had a group that's been working on this for almost a year now,
Mhm.
and it was going to be an in-person event, but the times have made us change it to virtual prayer services. So we'll be having a prayer service at 7:30 a.m. on May 7th, and then we'll be having live music virtually at 6:30 p.m. with a praise and worship service that is going to be led by a lot of different music leaders from White House area churches. So we're very excited about that. We're going to have some of our committee members from the National Day of Prayer Task Force join us next Tuesday. So hopefully you can tune into that. But
Yes.
now we want to welcome Mr. Gerald Herman, our city administrator, to our show. He is going to talk to us today a little bit about reopening White House. So, hello, Jerry.
Hey, Larry.
Hi, welcome, Megan and Mandy. Thank you for inviting me again to speak to the public in White House concerning this whole COVID-19 issue. I just want to say to the residents and the folks that visit here, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're doing a bang up job. You're practicing social distancing. You're washing your hands. You're keeping our numbers down, and we can get into that a little later. But right now, I just want to say thank you because it's been a long, enduring past couple of months, and here we are at the forefront of how do we open things back up and get us back to normal, the way we were before this whole thing came upon us.
Yes, yes. We I went to Walmart early this morning to get some groceries, and many people had masks on and were following that social distancing. So that was great to see. But it was good to see too people out. You know, spending a little bit of money locally. We want to encourage everybody to keep their money local right now. It's more important than ever to do that for our sales tax and for our small businesses. Jerry, why don't you talk to us a little bit? The city of White House is following, I believe, the governor's reopening plan. Is that right?
Yeah, we're trying to do that the best we can. First, you have to decide, why would we be opening now? And when you look at the curves, and did we flatten the curve, and where are we at in Tennessee? But when I talked to my staff Monday morning and said, okay, we need to start talking about opening up, because that's the direction that the federal government's going, and our state and our local counties are talking about it. So what do we do here at White House? And I pointed out to them, that truly, when I look at the death rate, because I think it's important. Our goal is to try to keep people alive. How do we keep them, once they've gotten this crazy virus, how do we keep them, their hearts going, and then they keep breathing, they keep able to be able to function. So, we started back in, I think, March 14th. I started keeping track of the death counts from a daily point of view, and nationally we had 10 deaths March 14th. That was just 6 weeks ago or so. It peaked, April 21st. They had like 2,800 deaths. It's just 8 days ago, that we were at the highest death rate that we ever had in our country. So we're starting to come off of it. And, finally, I just seen yesterday and the last 2 days, the 26th and the 27th, it dropped significantly down into 1,100 and then 1,300 compared to over the 2,000 that we've been having for days and days in a row. So that may be a good sign. So that maybe it is okay to start considering the opening. And you look at Tennessee, and it's like, the one, I just was looking at my phone. I took a picture of a statement that was made that the doctors had figured that on April 26th, Tennessee would suffer 192 deaths in one day. We had three, and that tells you that our Tennessee has done a great job. We've not had the spread that other states have had. So that's why the talk of opening up again is there. But when we look at the two counties we're in, we're split evenly by population, but yet on the Robertson County side, we've had 0 deaths. 0. That's wonderful news for us. Unfortunately, on our Sumner County side, we're at 34 deaths. That's significant around the state when you start looking, when we're competing with, as small as we are, Sumner County, with maybe 170,000 people or so, and you're having the likes of what Memphis would have, or that we would have in Nashville. So that's concerning. So, opening up, like, wow, do we open now, and how do we do it without having to take a setback if we have another breakout and we got to go backwards again, and start hurting things. And as I said before, on the front side of things, okay, it was a new thing. We were all saying social distancing, and we are all in this thing together. And we still had money in our pockets, and but then as we started getting to the top of this thing, things started changing. People started realizing, hey, I don't have a job. People were getting unemployed. We had over 400,000 people file for unemployment in Tennessee alone. That's huge. That's significant. So it's like, what do we do? So then, you get something like this, and this comes in and says opening up America again. So you start reviewing these guidelines and think, okay, that's possibly doable. And then I get Sumner County and Robertson County. They're having their opening up plans and what they do. And I've had many conversations with the leaders in both counties trying to sort out, how do we start the opening process. So I came to the conclusion that maybe we ought to just look at what the governor's trying to do here in our state, because, we've done a good job so far. He took a lot of heat for not wanting to close down the state in the beginning, but he finally did do the safer at home. He's letting that expire coming up here at the end of the week. And now he's got this reopening Tennessee responsibly. And so he's come up with a plan to start. But unlike these other plans that I've looked at, they have 3 or 4 stages in it. He really hasn't addressed that at all. And he's looking at the data, and he's determined that some things need to open up, because he started looking at the economic value of our state and what was the suffering we were suffering, and realized, okay, we have a very low death rate count compared to what we were expected to have. So what sectors in our job sectors took the biggest damage as far as layoffs? And what we found in this graph here is we have accommodation and food service had 87,000 people unemployed. And then you get down into the health and social services is another big one at 40,000 people there. Retail trade, 48,000. So I think he what he's decided to do is start with the restaurant business, because that had the highest number of layoffs. And so let's get these people back to work. And as you know, we, as of yesterday, some of our local restaurants opened up, and it actually was nice driving around and seeing people sitting on a patio at a restaurant and enjoying, their lunch. And I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, I went to Arby's myself, but they only had the drive-through open still. They wouldn't let you come inside. They weren't ready for that yet. And I kind of figured that maybe all the restaurants would not be ready to open. Did they have to hire staff back and try to get them people back to work? How many people do they actually need when they can only have 50%, of their facility open to the public to come in there and eat? So some of them are going to take a little bit of time to get there, and some probably already have done that. So the governor's given us the go ahead. He said we can go ahead and open up restaurants at 50%. Of course, they want you to follow good practices, and that's what that Tennessee Pledge is all about. They want you to make sure that you're social distancing inside your facility, making sure your employees are wearing face coverings, making sure that you have good hygiene practices and cleaning things up when you're done. So that got us going with the restaurant business. And then he did that by executive order. Now, he has made comments in press release that he plans on opening up retail tomorrow, and possibly the healthcare, the elective surgeries and stuff to open up on Friday. Those are just statements made. We've not seen any executive orders that would validate that yet. So I'm anticipating the retail stores can open tomorrow, but if we get the executive order, we will certainly post that right away. So it's I guess in that sense, it's kind of challenging because we really don't know. So here we are. What about all the other things that are sitting there closed? When's the dates for that? We don't know. We don't know. And I'm looking at you seriously. We don't know. And I wish I could give you a date, because I know you have to plan these openings like you had to close, and you may have lost your supply line, you may have lost your employees. These things you can't just turn right back on like you had to turn it off. So we don't have the information that we need yet, but I anticipate what the governor's trying to do is slow walk this thing. He almost has to. Matter of fact, the meeting I was in a little while ago with the Commissioner of Economic Development in the state, he's more or less saying, they want to see if, when they start this opening up maybe of these three different sectors over the next couple of days, let's let the dust settle and see where we go from there. So that's kind of where we're at, man, right now, Mandy. I know that you've had probably some other concerns and other questions. If you want to talk about some other sectors, we certainly can. I'm willing to talk about it.
Well, we do. We have some questions here, and slow walk is something that we're hearing a lot, and that's probably the most responsible way to do this. But it's also frustrating for small businesses, that are losing revenue and trying to keep employees on payroll. We have had someone ask us about churches, and can you address when churches will be able to meet again? And I know your answer, but share it with us.
Yeah, I think churches are in the same situation right now. They haven't been. It hasn't been mentioned by the governor about when that would be okay for people to go back to church. Social distancing is really the key right now for everything. And so I would say that what you have been doing with your online worship services, with your parking lot services, where you can keep your your members separated and socially distanced, I think you're going to be okay. Until he gives us the green light to move forward. He is the chief executive of the state, and other counties had some ideas that they were going to continue to keep closed, or they were going to do this or that. But the attorney general came out with an opinion stating that the governor has full authority in all of our counties and our municipalities, and that we can't not override him or take away or add to any of his orders. So, the one thing that we did when the mayor was issuing executive orders, is that we were allowed to by state statute, and one of the things that I learned through that process is that our counties, even though we said we wanted our citizens to comply with the county executive orders by the mayors there are really only directed to the unincorporated areas of the county. So that was why the cities had to kind of respond and come up with their own executive orders, like we did, and Springfield did, and Portland did, and Hendersonville and Gallatin. They all came up with their own executive orders. But now, basically, the governor he's taken charge and he's leading the way on this. He's really hesitant to give mandates. He's not going to send the COVID-19 police out to your business and say, hey, you're violating this. The problem I think we'll find with businesses and like with churches or whatever is going to be the people that don't think it's right, or they have other fears or anxieties, and they'll contact somebody, and they contact us for sure, the city, and then they contact our police department and want us to react and do something about these rogue businesses that aren't following these guidance, but they're guidelines. They're no longer. He's not asking us to enforce like he did in the beginning. It's kind of like saying, you can enforce, but we rather you go through about all these other steps of, talking to the people and trying to convince them that they need to practice social distancing and all that. So he's really kind of taking that away, and it would be a misdemeanor anyway. So no one's going to prison over this whole thing. So their guidance, what he's hoping by calling it a promise is that, people are willing, and Tennesseans are really good about this, is following what the law is. And I got to give us credit. We are a law-abiding state. That's one of the things that make us one of the great states.
Absolutely. Well, and to that point, again, we've got somebody that's asking about dental procedures, and I know that the governor has mentioned elective surgeries, which I'm assuming would include dental procedures, but has not addressed that. So, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I've not really seen, like where a dental hygienist can get back to work and cleaning teeth. I mean, I feel bad for all the folks. I mean, I have mine coming up here in a couple of weeks, so I'm like, is mine going to get canceled too? And then there's going to be a whole lot of us that are going to need teeth cleaned, and we're all going to be trying to schedule. And they're going to be very, very busy when they get the order that they can open up. But yeah, close contact. That's probably something. It's a new term that we use. So if you're in a close contact type business, what I was told today, you're in what they call the other basket, or the not now. That's really the best term to use. Yeah. You're in the not now basket, which means not now. He's not ready to release you to go back to work. And I know that some of you have been hit the hardest, are even our gymnasiums. If you look at some of the guidelines, gymnasiums should be able to open up, but he's not released that. And he's got an executive order that stands that says that you can't open up. Now he's saying that the executive order that the Safer at Home is going to expire here at the end of the month. Doesn't mean that he's not going to issue an executive order that says specifically that your business has to remain closed. That's probably coming, and I anticipate seeing that. So if you're a hairstylist and you have a salon, or you have a gym and you're planning on opening up May 1st, you better hold tight, because I'm not sure that's ready to go yet, especially since I've been told you're kind of in the not now area, the not now stuff. Maybe they will. Right now, they're not.
Yeah, and that applies to, like you said, the close contact businesses, which would be hair salons, massage studios, fitness centers, right. and probably even dental offices. And of course, there'll be guidance too coming down from the state boards for those people that are licensing boards. but it's discouraging for sure. I need a
Right.
haircut really badly, so
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
ready
Not
for
saying
this.
about you. I know about me.
I
I
was
need it
gonna say,
too.
wait a minute, Jerry. Yeah,
No,
but
you're
yeah,
fine.
we need those to open back up. But again, waiting on that guidance from the governor. We've got another question, and this you will be able to answer. Is about parks and recreations, and I know you
Mhm.
made some calls yesterday morning at that meeting
Yeah.
about the city of White House, the Parks Department. So share that with us, please.
Well, sometimes, you have to pay attention to what else is going on around you. And, and listening to the state, and listening to some of the doctors and that on television and that, it looks like, until we get past Memorial Day, we still have really potential problems. I'm not saying after Memorial Day you couldn't. It's just it's going to be less likely that you're going to have problems. So we are planning on keeping this just like the state is doing. They're recommending people stay at home that can stay at home, that their workers work from home. We're doing the same thing here. We're going to continue to have our employees that are working from home work from home. We're going to continue to keep our building kind of locked down, but just leaving the one entry open in City Hall for people to come in and use if need be, to sign up for utilities and do some business with the city. But we would again recommend that they use mail in, or they use their Dropbox, or they go online and pay their bills. We still would definitely prefer that as our option. When it comes to our parks, we just felt like, in the beginning, I was taking a lot of heat for not closing our playgrounds right away. And so we're going to keep our playgrounds closed at least until, I told staff, at least June 1st or later. But right now, that's our target date, but that's subject to change. That would include our splash pad, close contact sports like maybe volleyball or the basketball for sure. I mean, if the kids are out there playing basketball, it's kind of hard to go up for a lap without getting bumped by somebody and having contact with them. So we're keeping our facilities in a shutdown mode, especially when it comes to physical activity. Even I've had questions about, okay, well, in the first phase, you're not supposed to have organized sports occurring, in your gyms or in your on your soccer fields, baseball fields, that type of thing. But in phase 2, you can, and we're going to be moving into phase 2. I said, I don't know how we're moving into phase 2 by, like, say, I was asked by May 15th because they're figuring phase 1 starts May 1st. Well, no, the governor's never even given us a phase. So I don't know how I'm moving into phase 1, and he's not even giving us phase 1, and he hasn't even categorized phases yet and what they mean. So for us, I've decided we're going to keep those facilities closed to organize sports. We just can't have it. So I feel sad. We've already refunded probably 100 or so for folks that were in our spring volleyball program. I feel sad. I know our soccer folks had a tournament coming up that we said they can't use the fields for that. And so baseball, they haven't even been able to get started yet, or maybe they did start, but then they weren't able to get into the game series yet. They're wanting to know what can they do, and I'm thinking just probably late June, early July. Maybe we'll have to sacrifice our fall program and let baseball and softball carry a late season this year, and that may be what we're going to have to do. But I think it's the only thing I can do to keep us safe until we get better guidance from the state on what to do. But right now, don't plan on those facilities and our pavilions for parties and that type of thing to be open. We're not even taking registrations for these or reservations right now. We're not issuing any special permits for people that want to do special activities or anything until probably we'll start considering it June 1st probably or thereafter. But that's the goal, and that's the hope. June 1st is my plan.
And of course, that June 1st date that you've named is subject to review as well. I'm sure that, a week or 10 days before that, you will closely look at the data. And that's one thing that we have to remember, that, we all want a date. We want to know May 15th, this is happening, but this is data driven. And it's going to depend on what's happening and it's not really going to depend on a calendar date, but more the data that's coming into us. And, the greenways are still open. Our sidewalks are still open. So, we encourage people to utilize those responsibly. It's beautiful right now. The dog park is still closed, but it's getting some renovations right during this closure.
Right. That's a good point to make. I was thinking about opening up the dog park, but we have some new additions that we're adding to it. So some things are gonna be like misting. I think there's gonna be some fans. There's gonna be some misting stuff that that come out of the ceiling to help cool you down. There's some more things for the dogs to do there for them to be able to play. So we're just taking the opportunity to get that done while nobody's in there playing right now. But I'm when you were talking about the parks and greenways and stuff, sometimes people will complain, hey, there's these people sitting on a blanket having a picnic together. That's more than they're not 6 feet apart. Well, it may be a wife and a husband and a couple of kids. I think it's okay that they're sitting together. Their family. I don't think I have to force them to separate themselves. But certainly, if you're around other people that you're not around very often, or if they're ill, you definitely don't want to be around them. And we want you to still have fun. I mean, if you got if you have a small, group of people, I mean, let's say your family wants to kick a ball around or something in the field that we have, that's not going to be a problem. We just don't want to organize sports taking place in our parks right now. And, I just wish that, it was better, but, I know that these young kids that are missing playing baseball, and a lot of times it's the dads and the coaches and the moms that it's more important to them that these kids get out there, but think about this. Professional hockey and basketball, they shut down. We didn't even get to see the college March Madness because they shut down. Baseball is not even going on right now. These are professional people that get paid, to do this, and college programs are shut down. I think if you just really look at it, it's going to be okay if your child misses a baseball season. And I know that a lot of us think, and my kid played hockey. I thought he was going to be pro, and you treat your kid like they're going to be a pro. But the bottom line is they're a kid and they're just having fun, and we want them to be safe. So what's better? Is it better for them to be safe in an environment that's not going to die from some COVID-19, some virus that came here from some foreign land, or that they take that chance and and miss out on a season? It's just the life we're going to have to accept right now for these few months that we've had to deal with it. Next year at this time, we may be looking back and saying, what the heck did we do? And why did we do it again? But here's where we're at right now. And it's a shame, but worst crisis I've had to deal with in 36 years of local government. That's for sure.
That's right. So close to retirement and something to really go out on, right?
Yeah, I think I'll pass. I think I'll try to strive a little bit longer so I don't have to have this as my keynote.
Absolutely. That's true.
Yeah.
And what you said about the kids is so true. My daughter was going to play the City League volleyball, and my husband was her coach. And, they were disappointed that it didn't take place. But at the same time, everybody's safety is, got to be top priority. And, maybe parents and coaches or that are, parent coaches can take this time to do some batting practice and pitching practice and things like that. And, utilize the time that they have. It's frustrating. We know, especially, White House is a big sports community and everybody is very competitive because we all want to be number one. But, we want all of our residents to be here with us next year and be able to enjoy that sporting season. So we appreciate those decisions that you're making. I know that it's not easy to be a leader right now, and having to make decisions like that, and waiting for the governor to issue guidance so that you can guide your citizens and the residents in White House. But does anybody have any other questions? I think we've addressed pretty much all of the questions. We did share the links to Reopening America and also the Tennessee Pledge, so that you can find those links. And then also on our Facebook page and the White House City Administrators page is some language that Jerry released yesterday about the city's plans. So if you want to look closer at that, it's on both of those Facebook pages. And if you can't find it, message us and we'll make sure that you get that. And then also for our employers especially, there is a lot of guidance in that Tennessee Pledge for employers on how to screen their employees for work and encourage social distancing and their safe practices and sanitizing practices and things like that. So I encourage all of our businesses and employers to take a look at that pledge and make sure that you're following those guidelines and share it with your employees and even have it available to your customers possibly.
Well, that's really good, Mandy. I think that's important that you posted all that stuff, and just keep in mind when you're reviewing all that stuff that, again, our city, and I've talked to the mayor about this, and he definitely just wants to follow the governor's guidance, and that's what we're going to be doing. So I wish you all well. I feel bad about those that are not employed right now. I know that that can have an effect on our city revenues in the future. We're watching that very closely. I mean, there's been a lot of things that we've been doing in the background, to keep the city running. Budgeting process is almost complete. I have a budget study session with the board next week, and then the first reading of the ordinance will be at third Thursday of May, and the second reading with the public hearing will be in June. So that's a pretty significant thing for us to do each year is our budget. It's looking fairly good. We've made some reductions in our sales tax anticipation of having less revenues there. We've kept our property taxes flat. I'm not sure if everybody will be able to pay their property taxes, so we didn't want to overestimate there. But overall, I wish you well. Keep up the faith. Keep working hard. Keep us safe. And I think we're going to get through this. Let's just get through these next 4 or 5 weeks, and I think we're going to be okay this summer.
That's right. We'll definitely be okay. We are all better together. Thank you, Jerry, so much for joining us. And if this continues, we'll have you back for another update, but hopefully we will be back to business as usual sooner rather than later. So thank you so much for joining us. And if anybody has any questions that we didn't cover, feel free to message those to us and we will make sure to get an answer for you. So go out and enjoy this day if you can. Enjoy the sunshine. But just thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.